I think the one thing that has really changed for us, and it's driven by digital, by the thinking of digital rather than by digital as kind of like the product, has been the human centricity aspect. I think we've really put that at the very heart of our strategy, and what we're calling enriching travel experiences has become the strategy around which we build all of our initiatives. So we're trying to make sure that every touch point that we have, of which this particular category has so many, is capable of actually delivering added value as opposed to just creating something entertaining or fun. It really can solve for things as much as it can inspire. So we're trying to take that thinking into digital, where we are building better and better small solutions for people as they're traveling, whilst at the same time using the same thinking and having that go in ripple effects into the entire travel experience. So we're creating experiences that we think are really interesting in terms of like making something better that is still a little bit too complex, right? One of the things that we have installed, for example, at airports lately is, as opposed to putting billboards up that could convey the message about our new business seat, we're putting up little dispensers for tissues, because our research has shown that there are 3 fundamental mindsets that you can have whilst traveling. You're either really excited because you're going on vacation, you're a little bit nervous because you're going on a business trip, or you're sad because you just said goodbye to somebody. So why not do something about that? And so we're giving people some small little symbolic things that we think nevertheless are very emblematic of a very empathic approach to marketing that we're taking. We think that mobile is a very integral part of the brand experience, not necessarily just of advertising, but of the real brand experience. So we're trying to build better and better products for mobile that people can utilize that enrich their travel experience. One of the examples that we have is we're going to deploy a new app that's called Komoot, which is an offline turn-by-turn app that helps people navigate cities in which they might have never been. So if you're a runner, for example, and you like to run for 10 miles as opposed to running up 5 miles and back 5 miles, you can actually have an interesting course programmed for you, and it'll give you the information as you're running as to where you have to turn. So it's that kind of thinking that we're applying to a lot of the points throughout the journey that we're really excited about. We're of course also doing advertising mobile. We're also of course delivering general content mobile. But the things that this category in particular I think exhibits, which is the complexity that we can solve for through mobile, is perhaps the area that we're most excited about. Yeah, I think the impact that digital has had on creativity is twofold. One is we're getting access to a much bigger spread of the target audience. In the past, we've been able to narrow down on perhaps 3 or 4 subsets of target audiences. Now we have an even much larger number. And the great thing about that is it gives us an opportunity to try out a lot of creatives. So we can test, we can learn, we can iterate. And that's something that we're putting into the entirety of our marketing system now, the ability to do smaller things quicker and be able to better measure what resonates and what doesn't resonate. And so that's the thing that we think digital really affords us. Obviously, having a multitude of different platforms also gives you a multitude of different ways in which you can deliver the creative. So we're experimenting a lot more with different film formats, which we're having a lot of fun with. One of the formats that we're working on is called Inspired By, which is a format that is trying to depict the transformative power of every journey on which you go. And we're doing a couple of different versions of that. One is we're taking our crew and putting them front and center, because we think that our crew are actually the ultimate travel experts, and they can give you tips about a trip that perhaps few other people can. Or we're accompanying people on special trips. We have a 17-year-old photographer that we accompanied on his first trip to the US, which he had always dreamt of doing. And you can almost see him grow during that journey. He's wide-eyed, there's so much happening. And that is what we think is the magic of the category. And so we're creating these things in much longer format. We're capable of deploying those in a very targeted manner, and we're seeing fantastic results as a result of that. Content marketing is a fantastic opportunity for us, and I think one of the privileges that we have as a category, we're already publishers. We have 3 magazines within our portfolio now, one which is an onboard magazine, and then we have 2 magazines that we cater to our special guests, which are, our very loyal customers. And so we've always created an awful lot of content couple that with a lot of the content that our travelers are generating that we can also help curate, there's almost an infinite amount of content that this category is capable of generating. So the problem for us is much less how do we create relevant content, because the category is a relevant content producer, if you will, but it's a much more tricky question for us to try to figure out how do we distribute it. How do we make sure that we can get it contextually delivered to people so it really adds value as they would best want to use it.